More FPL. Today I want to talk about some possible differentials for your Game Week 1 squad. By differential, I mean players under 10% owned. We'll look at a few players in each position. First, let's look at goalkeepers, starting with Ilham Meslier of Leeds United, who comes in at 5 million and is 5.5% owned. Leeds have a mixed start when it comes to fixtures, but after having become less cavalier in their approach in the second half of last season, their defensive record improved. Notably, they kept clean sheets against Chelsea and Man United. They also concede plenty of shots, so Meslier racks up the save points. He would have got about 10 more points had Marcelo Bielsa not opted to give Kiko Casilla a run-out in the final 2 games of the season. Next, let's look at Dean Henderson of Man United, who comes in at 5 million and is 3.7% owned. United have a kind opening run of fixtures, and Henderson is expected to start the season as number 1. It's rare to see the goalkeeper of a premium team come in at such a low price, perhaps reflecting the competition from David De Gea. As I was writing this, it's emerged that Henderson is suffering from long COVID. If that's the case, De Gea is an option instead at the same price, and even more of a differential at 1.8% owned. Finally, let's look at Daniel Bachmann of Watford, who comes in at 4.5 million and is 3.1% owned. Their defensive record in the Championship was the best, certainly of recent times, and possibly ever. They conceded just 30 goals and got 23 clean sheets. He's expected to start the season as number 1, and with second choice Ben Foster at 4 million, you can have both for 8.5 million and be guaranteed a starter every week, even with an injury. It remains to be seen how the Watford defence will fare at the highest level, but of last season's top 7, they only faced Tottenham in the first 7 weeks. Next, let's look at defenders, starting with Reece James of Chelsea, who comes in at 5.5 million and is 9% owned. Chelsea don't have the easiest start with fixtures, but since Thomas Tuchel's arrival, they had one of the best defences in the league and showed they can keep a clean sheet against anyone. Like last season, they've continued to play a back 3 in pre-season. James is expected to be first choice at right wing-back and offers plenty of attacking threat. The main other option in that position is Cesar Azpilicueta, and when he's played there, James is often filled in at right centre-back. Next, let's look at Joao Cancelo of Man City, who comes in at 6 million and is 7.7% owned. There's always a threat of rotation in the Pep roulette, but the fact that Kyle Walker went all the way over England at the Euros and played most of the minutes may mean that he's eased back into action at the start of the season. Cancelo provides a lot of attacking threat from what is a nominal right-back position, but often ends up right wing or further infield. He can also fill in at left-back, giving him an increased chance of starting. Finally, let's look at Lewis Dunk of Brighton, who comes in at 5 million and is 6.5% owned. Since the game launched, a lot of attention has been given to Tariq Lamptey up until his injury, but have we been ignoring his teammate, who could provide better value? He's always a threat at set pieces and got 5 goal returns last season. He was the 9th top scoring defender, only significantly behind the Liverpool boys and Aaron Cresswell. Brighton have good fixtures to start and could grab some early clean sheets. Next, let's look at midfielders, starting with Diogo Jota of Liverpool, who comes in at 7.5 million and is 9% owned. Liverpool have a great opening run of fixtures, and when Jota plays, he's often among the goals, bagging 9 last season. He struggled with injuries though, and was in and out of the team at times. Typically, only 3 of Jota, Salah, Mane and Firmino play any given match. With Salah and Mane having tournament-free summers and already featuring a lot in pre-season, it looks to be a straight fight between Jota and Firmino to start Game Week 1. Jota has played slightly more pre-season minutes so far. Next, let's look at Jack Harrison of Leeds United, who comes in at 6 million and is 5.6% owned. When you consider he was the 7th top point scoring midfielder, you may wonder how his ownership is so low. It's partly down to the popularity of his teammate Rafinha, who comes in at 6.5 million and is 22% owned. Interestingly, Rafinha scored almost 30 points less than Harrison, primarily due to playing less minutes. So a better comparison is points per match, which is actually equal at 4.4. They're both strong options in the mid-price, midfield bracket. Finally, let's look at Mason Greenwood of Man United, who comes in at 7.5 million and is just 3.2% owned. He had a really strong second half of the season. He pulled out of the Euros through injury, but has already featured heavily in pre-season. United have signed Jadon Sancho, but Marcus Rashford is set to miss the first few months of the season to undergo surgery. With Anthony Martial only just returning from injury and the other forward players having featured in summer tournaments, Greenwood should start the season in the team. United have great fixtures to start. Finally, let's look at strikers, starting with Jamie Vardy of Leicester, who comes in at 10.5 million and is 9.1% owned. A lot of attention has been on Kelechi Iheanacho following his heroics at the end of last season, but overall, Vardy was third top point scoring striker. Going into this season, there are concerns that he may not be as nailed on as he once was with the arrival of Patson Daka, but you'd assume he'd start the season in the team at least. There's also a bit of uncertainty around the system Brendan Rodgers will play and whether it will involve one or two strikers. Next, let's look at Callum Wilson of Newcastle, who comes in at 7.5 million and is 4.9% owned. There's a wealth of options around this price, and Wilson is another solid option. He was 9th top point scoring striker last season and is Newcastle's main man. This was in spite of missing a third of the season, meaning he got 5.2 points per match behind only Harry Kane and Vardy. He was better with Alain Saint-Maximin in the team, and he's also in line to start the season. Newcastle have decent fixtures to start, aside from facing Man United in Game Week 4. Lastly, let's look at Raul Jimenez of Wolves, who comes in at 7.5 million and is 3.4% owned. He missed most of last season through injury, but had great stats in the previous 2 seasons. He's played a part in pre-season and is expected to be in the team for Game Week 1. New manager Bruno Lage has a reputation for attacking football, his Benfica team having banged in over 100 goals in 2019. So it looks like it's Wolves' attacking assets we should be considering in general. Of all these differentials, I'm seriously considering Bachmann in goal as an alternative to Robert Sanchez of Brighton. I'll probably look at Chelsea and Man City defenders from Game Week 7. I'm thinking about Jota or Greenwood as a third Liverpool or Man United player, but are concerned about their minutes long term. I may go Wilson instead of Ollie Watkins, given the news of Danny Ings signing for Villa. And Jimenez is on my watch list for Game Week 4, when Wolves' fixtures turn. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please add your own thoughts and follow-up questions in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as I can. If you made it to the very end, please destroy the like and subscribe buttons and notification bell to get more FPL.